Aaliyah didn't just die in no plane crash, she died with secrets.
The pilot, who we'll talk about in a minute, recommended that only 7 people fly with Aaliyah, or a total of 7 people in the party. She happened to have 8 in her party. And there was also some heavy equipment and luggage on board. Aaliyah was a nervous flyer, and she was immediately sort of put off by this. Another thing, the flight was scheduled to take off early in the night. It was about 3.5 hours late to arrive at the Abaco Island.
Pilot recommended.
I said a lot of things years ago, and they all realized themselves later. But the things that I found appalling for some reason 10 years ago, no one found them appalling when they were happening.
I said a lot of things years ago, and now, over 2 decades later, those secrets might finally be coming to light. With 50 Cent stirring the pot and dropping cryptic bombs during the Diddy trial, folks are starting to ask some real uncomfortable questions. Was Aaliyah silenced? And if so, who was behind it? Cause according to the whispers online, Diddy might not be the only one with blood on his hands. Jay-Z's name is suddenly floating to the surface, and it's looking messy. Okay, so let's talk about the absolute storm shaking up the music industry right now. We're talking big names like Diddy, Jay-Z, and even 50 Cent being dragged right into the spotlight. Diddy is facing some serious legal heat, accusations of sexual misconduct, trafficking, the whole 9. And the moment that came out, everybody started picking sides. 50 Cent, in true 50 fashion, wasted no time calling folks out, especially Jay-Z, for still rocking with Diddy. Aaliyah didn't just die in no plane crash, she died with secrets. Pilot recommended. I said a lot of things years ago, and now, over 2 decades later, those secrets might finally be coming to light. So far in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs, we have heard testimony from big-name celebrities linked to the now disgraced music mogul. Now, while all of this drama is unfolding, guess what else popped back up? Yup, theories about Aaliyah's tragic death in 2001. TikTok has been on fire with people questioning if that plane crash was really just an accident. Some are even throwing out names like Diddy and Jay-Z, saying Aaliyah's rising star was a threat to other artists, hint hint Beyonce, and that her death just so happened to clear the path for others to shine. Now let's be real, these are just theories. The official story? The plane was overloaded, the pilot wasn't even licensed for that aircraft, and he had white and alcohol in his system. Her family settled a lawsuit, and it was ruled an accident, period. But because of all the scandals going down right now, and the internet doing what the internet does, people are going back into the archives. Old rumors and interviews, everything is getting picked apart. And with the way things are looking, this convo might not be going away anytime soon. So what really happened to Aaliyah? Well, officially, they say it was a tragic accident. Back on August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah and her team were leaving the Bahamas after filming the Rock the Boat video. They hopped on this small Cessna plane, but it was way too small for the crew and their equipment. Literally, the plane went down just 200 feet after takeoff, and everyone on board, including Aaliyah, was gone in seconds. Now let's get into the real messy details the investigation found. The plane was overloaded by 900 pounds. That's not just a little heavy, that's wild. Then, the pilot was not even supposed to be flying that type of aircraft, and he was drugged up, as mentioned before. But it wasn't just that. The airline was a hot mess too. Black Hawk International Airways had a whole history of safety violations. So basically, this was an accident waiting to happen. But here's where things get even spookier. Apparently, Aaliyah didn't even want to get on that plane. Multiple people have said she was nervous, didn't feel right, and even tried to leave the airport to chill in a taxi. One witness claimed she was given some kind of pill and then carried onto the plane while she was asleep. That's not just she was tired. That sounds sus. A 2021 book even said she may have been drugged against her will, adding a whole new level of what in the world was really going on. It goes completely against those early stories that said she was the one insisting they leave that day. So now, the theories have only gotten louder. People online are saying maybe this wasn't just an accident. Some folks think industry big dogs didn't want Aaliyah around anymore, and they're connecting some pretty bold dots between her death and the rise of certain other artists. Now, let's be clear, there's no official proof of foul play, no arrests, no confirmed unconfirmed plot. The government's report still says it was overloading, pilot mistakes, and poor management. But that story about her being drugged doesn't sit right with a lot of people. And honestly, who can blame them? The only thing that's certain is that Aaliyah didn't deserve what happened to her. And the way these new details are coming out in the middle of all this Diddy drama, the streets are definitely talking again. And who is the loudest? That's right, 50. This man has been on a whole mission lately. And you already know when 50 gets locked in on somebody, he's not letting up. He's been dragging Diddy every chance he gets, and the internet is eating it up. Lately, he managed to get himself involved because of Kid Cudi's testimony. He went on IG and posted a gym photo of him saying, "What the Diddy did to Kid Cudi dog over the girl man lol." Now, with Diddy facing all those disturbing allegations, 50 has basically appointed himself as the unofficial spokesperson for calling it out. He's been clowning Diddy hard on social media, using that savage sense of humor to mock everything from the courtroom drama to the free Diddy protesters outside. People were out there with t-shirts, and 50 said the whole thing looked staged and diabolical. But it doesn't stop there. 50's been reposting parts of Cassie's lawsuit and testimony, highlighting the wildest claims and putting it all out there for his millions of followers. And just when you thought he was done, he announced he's working on a Netflix docuseries that's supposedly gonna unpack even more of the alleged mess behind Diddy and the industry's dark side. And yes, Jay-Z caught a lil heat too. 50's been throwing side eyes and slick comments, basically questioning why Jay is still cozy with Diddy amid all this chaos. He's definitely hinting that some folks in the industry might be hiding way more than they're letting on. So here's what went down.
Why this was done civilly, why this civil lawsuit was filed demanding money, and why a criminal complaint has not been made.
Now we are learning Jay-Z's name recently showed up in a high-profile civil lawsuit that also targeted Diddy. The big headline? Both men were accused of assaulting a minor back in 2000. But hold up, before the blogs could even finish running with that story, the whole lawsuit got dropped. Yup, voluntarily dismissed with prejudice, which legally means the plaintiff can't bring it back in its current form. The woman who filed the case ended up pulling back her claims after some major inconsistencies in her story came to light. On top of that, Jay-Z's team clapped back hard. They straight up called the accusations frivolous and fictitious. And just so we're all clear, no settlement money was paid. Jay-Z didn't cut a check. His attorney, Alex Spiro, even went on record saying this lawsuit never should have made it to court in the first place, and praised Jay for standing strong in the face of what they basically called an extortion attempt.
The people around Mr. Carter wanted to know what happened behind closed doors. And so they asked for her to be interviewed. The interview occurred, and the tape speaks for itself. She says, in no uncertain terms, Mr. Carter did not do this. It is effectively a lie. And the only reason Mr. Carter is even involved in this is because she was pushed to involve him, pushed to include him by a lawyer.
People behind, but that's not even all. Jay-Z and Beyonce's names got dragged into another lawsuit, this time by a man named Manzaro Joseph, who claimed they witnessed abuse at one of Diddy's parties in 2015. Sounds wild, right? But again, Jay's team pulled out the receipts, proved they weren't even there, and just like that, the lawsuit got edited to remove their names altogether, deleted like a messy tweet. And Jay-Z, he's not taking it lightly. He's flipping the script and filing his own lawsuits now for malicious prosecution, abuse of process, and defamation. Basically, he's saying, you tried to play with my name, now face the consequences. So where does that leave us today? As of right now, Jay-Z isn't facing any active lawsuits or criminal charges tied to Diddy's legal drama or any of the shady stuff going on in the industry. Every single case that mentioned him has either been dismissed, discredited, or cleaned up to take his name out. And best believe, not a single shred of credible evidence has surfaced tying him to anything scandalous. Moral of the story? People might be trying to lump Jay-Z into the mess, but when you actually follow the court documents and facts, he's been clearing his name every single time. Let's see if that keeps up, because you already know the industry doesn't stay quiet for long. Because of Jay-Z and Beyonce, Aaliyah's name keeps getting brought up too. There's been a major push to reopen Aaliyah's case, and it's not just the fans whispering anymore. Some familiar names are speaking up loud and clear. I mean, make it make sense. It's been over 2 decades, but the whole thing still doesn't sit right with a lot of folks. So where is all this pressure coming from? Well, social media is doing what it does best, amplifying the drama. Social media is flooded with videos and posts where fans are breaking down what really happened and digging into old clips, interviews, and industry tea. The idea that something was off, and it's time to look at this case with fresh eyes. And guess who's co-signing that energy? celebrity, Dame Dash. He's been very vocal about reopening the case, saying there are too many unanswered questions, and some of those questions point toward Barry Hankerson, Aaliyah's uncle and former label head. Dame has hinted that there may be new testimonies or overlooked details that could change how we view Aaliyah's death and the people around her. Not to mention Hype Williams, who took the private jet that had been offered to Aaliyah.
But what I was really more tight about was that I had heard that Lenny Kravitz had offered her a jet and that Hype had took the jet. So that's what really pissed me off about the situation when I heard about it.
Now let's be clear, none of this is confirmed in court, but the theories are spiraling and the internet is not letting go. Some folks believe that certain people in her camp might have benefited financially or otherwise from her death. Again, no verified receipts, but the speculation is thick. People are asking, was this really just a tragic accident or was there something more sinister? But here's the twist. Even with all this noise online, there's no official movement from law enforcement, no reopened investigation, no court filings. It's mostly the fans, creators, and a few insiders sounding the alarm. Still, the pressure is building, and as we've seen lately, public demand can spark real change. Right now, we're at a crossroads between public suspicion, conspiracy theories, and a growing hunger for accountability in the music industry. Aaliyah was too iconic, too loved, and gone too soon, and a lot of people feel like her story was never fully told, or worse, covered up. So until someone officially reopens that case, the streets and social media are going to keep asking questions, because one thing's for sure, Aaliyah's legacy still speaks and the people are finally listening. Aaliyah's story was never just about tragedy. It was about power, silence, and the people who let her fall through the cracks. But now, as the industry's darkest secrets unravel, the truth that's been buried for decades may finally be impossible to ignore. Justice might be late, but it's knocking. People still want to see it. That's why you regularly read comments such as, "Justice will served for Aaliyah" and "Justice for my queen."